The following program contains mature subject matter. Listener discretion is advised. You are listening to Zeitgeist Lab Collections from Itchy Grundle Podcast. In Collection 3, Brian and Alex metaphorically traveled north to Canada to investigate the Canadian content that seems to be pervasive everywhere. This is episode 13, Kim's Convenience.
So, if I'm being honest, Brian, I have a bit of an itch in my grundle this evening.
What does that mean?
No, it's completely and 100% literal. My grundle itches.
Oh. Why are you telling me this?
I don't know. Why not? Trying to keep it real on the podcast, right? Like, trying to lead with honesty. I want our listeners to just know that they can count on me for open and honest communication about what's going on in my life if they want it. So if you like what you've heard there, hit me up on Twitter and I'll share whatever you want. The Zeitgeist Lab Collections Podcast. My name is Alex.
My name is Brian.
This is Collection 3, Episode 11? 12? I don't even know where we're at right now.
I've never paid attention to the numbers.
Yeah, it's one of them. We're here to talk about CanCon, but before we get into that, we're just going to talk about whatever the fuck we want to, because this is our fucking podcast, so we'll get to CanCon when we get to CanCon. Brian, what the hell's going on tonight?
Not much, man. Just trying to savor every moment I'm not at work.
Okay. So, are you enjoying your new job then?
Yeah, but tomorrow I started for real. Like, I'm done training.
Okay. Oh wow, that's not much training. Wait, is this your first week or second week?
My first week.
Okay, so they train you for.
Wait, no, second.
No, this is your second week. So they train you for a week and a half, basically, and then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you ready? Are you gonna kick ass? Are you gonna fucking do this thing?
I hope so.
So what? Like old people call you and you help them find doctor's appointments?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Everyone loves talking to an old person.
I'm going to hate it. I know it.
Well, sure, but we all hate all work, right? Is there such a thing as an enjoyable job?
Yeah, I mean, like, probably acting where you're making like $300,000 a movie or $3 million a movie, depending on who you are.
Yeah, but then you like pull out your gun and shoot and kill the cinematographer, and you're like, oh fuck, what did I do? What's going on? So, I mean, everything comes with a risk.
That's still topical, right?
Yeah, Alec Baldwin and gun safety. Yeah, absolutely. That's always going to be topical. Guns don't kill people. Alec Baldwin kills people. That was one of my favorite. I think that's a shirt that Donald Trump Jr. is selling on his website. So,
oh, that's less funny.
Yeah, it'd be better if George W. Bush was selling it.
I don't see the difference.
That's understandable. Now, I found that. Like, I feel like you're fairly progressive in your opinions, but I found that some of the most progressive people I know, not all, but there are some people who I know that are very progressive, but are still like, you're not taking my fucking gun from me. So are you pro-gun or anti-gun?
Yeah, I think guns are cool.
Okay. So you don't like gun control?
No.
Okay, wow. That doesn't, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised one way or the other. I just think it's interesting that is like, that's something that seems to almost be elevated above politics. It's just like, yeah, I like guns, or no, I don't. It doesn't really matter if I'm conservative or liberal. I just like my fucking gun. Do you shoot often then? Have you been shooting?
I've never shot a gun in my entire life.
You've never shot it. You just think it seems cool.
No, I just know better that people less privileged than me need guns for self-defense.
Oh, okay. That's yeah. I mean, that's probably the least offensive take on guns. I just think the government should take my guns. I don't have guns. They shouldn't take my guns. I don't have any. But get these fucking things out of here. Like, I don't like having
there are places in the world where people still need them for self-defense.
Yeah, I mean, and I think by and large we just need to focus more on mental health, but also our government's never going to do that. So if the option is take my guns or don't, but either way you're not going to help society with their mental health, then take my gun, because I don't like having to worry every day that my kid's school is going to get shot up, you know?
Yeah. I didn't think we'd have the gun control debate this early on in the podcast.
Like this early, like you thought we'd save that for season 4 or 5, maybe?
Yeah. Or this early on in the episode.
Well, this is great.
Well,
this is going to reel people in. We're going to have people, they're going to be up in arms over one of our opinions at this point.
That's true, yeah.
But if they've listened this long, it still counts as a download, so it's really all on that. I'm just looking at those numbers. I don't care if you get to the end of the episode.
Yeah, you've been obsessed with the numbers lately.
I'm fucking obsessed with the numbers. I want those numbers. I want more great big C numbers.
Which, I don't know if the average listener knows, this is our most popular episode this season.
That's right, and our 3rd most popular ever. All because of donkey riding.
I thought you were going to say, I'm high, so I thought you were going to say Donkey Kong.
All because of Donkey Dong.
What does he have to do with anything?
Donkey Dong. Don Quixote. Audio Boxer. So, Audio Boxer.
Audio Boxer.
Audio Boxer. So what does the Grundle have for us tonight? I don't have anything to... Is there... Sorry, how rude of me, Brian. Is there anything specific that you'd like to talk about here at the top before we reach down into our pants and grab our Grundle?
I really have to pee. But someone's in the bathroom.
Okay. Well, when they're out, I think you should take your phone in with you and go pee. Turn the camera off. I don't need to, but I think it'd be interesting to get the sounds of the bathroom on the pod,
Okay.
But yeah, please turn your camera off. No offense.
You don't want to see my Grundle?
No, I'm good. This is very slowly becoming I feel like every week this season we're getting a little bit more close to being just a shock jock, bro-y, drive time radio show.
I never got those vibes at all, but
you don't I feel like, and it's all my doing. I'm the one who's brought more poop talk to the pod. I'm now all right, let's have Brian go to the bathroom on mic. Yes, I just feel like I'm inching us closer to more of a shock jock type vibe. When this is supposed to be a topical, serious, educational podcast.
Speaking of poop, I'm really upset that I've started to take my daily shits at work in the morning.
Okay. Are you not a public pooper? You like to do it at home?
No, I call them away games.
Okay.
And I'm not very good at away games.
What do you mean? It just you can't squeeze it out?
I'm not a public pooper. No, I hate it.
Okay.
I hate being somewhere. I always take the handicap stall.
Oh yeah, you've got to.
Asshole.
No, for sure. No, I do.
I need room. Even though there's a handicap person at my work, I'm always terrified they're going to come in
and do what?
When I'm pooping, I'm using their stall.
Okay, but it's not like a handicap parking spot. Everyone's entitled to it. It's just that this is a bigger stall for them to use if they need to go to the restroom. But it's not like you're breaking a rule by using it.
I don't know. There's a Curb Your Enthusiasm episode about it that I saw recently.
I haven't seen that show. What is it?
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Mm-mm.
Larry David, the creator of Seinfeld.
Oh, the guy that had the rivalry with Magic Johnson in the 80s?
What are you talking about?
He's like the white basketball player. I think he was playing for the
Bird.
Celtics. Yeah, Larry David.
That's Larry Bird.
Yes, Larry David.
Oh my god, I'm so mad. So yeah, I used to be a midday evening pooper, but now I drink so many energy drinks, and that's changed my daily poops to mornings.
But even if it was midday, that would be work, right?
Mm, not tomato.
Okay. I'm not familiar with why you would say that, but
I don't know why I said that either. I didn't know what
I
else.
don't get it.
I didn't understand what I didn't. It doesn't matter.
I'm an early morning shitter these days. Like I wake up and I'm just ready to.
You know your poop situation. You don't need to tell us.
How do you know? How do you know my situation?
You tweet it every fucking day.
Not every day. I'm just saying.
We know regardless, we know the forecast. And it always calls for diarrhea.
Yeah. It's I can't think of any good metaphors. You know, partly, I don't know. There's brown skies overhead, and it's about to rain hellfire.
Yeah,
down.
we know what your situation is. If you can talk about it, I can talk about it.
Yeah, I'm not. No, I'm loving this. I'm not trying to judge you or shame you. Like, if I could, we would just do a whole episode talking about this kind of thing. Maybe that's what we need to do for the next Patreon episode.
Yeah, just get it all out there.
And maybe we can invite all our guests from this season, at least the Canadian ones, to like submit like an audio describing what their poop routine is about. So we could say it's like scientific data research.
I don't think anyone else is going to want to talk about it.
About the poop schedules of Canadians.
I barely want to talk about it. I'm just saying it because I thought it'd be a very funny segue. But
do you think Grant Lawrence would respond if I asked for him to send in some audio of him? I mean, what does the Grundle have for us? Like, what do we have this week?
You don't even want to finish that.
No, I can't. I can't. There'll be too much laughing.
All right. I want to see if the person's out of the bathroom yet.
Yes, here we go. Oh, I finally get to see more of your house other than just the utility box on the wall behind you. I feel like in your old place, I got a few different vantage points of what was going on, but in this place, I just see the exact same thing all the time. Oh shit, you have a number on your bedroom door? Okay, Brian's walking to the house. Okay, I see a smoke detector. It's gone black. Oh.
I'm afraid to knock.
Wait, are you back in your room?
Yeah.
What happened?
Someone's still in there. I'm afraid to knock.
Well, I mean, what? No need to knock if they're still in there. Okay,
I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure someone's in there.
Okay, what if you pissed your pants on Mike? What if you pissed your pantychrist right on Mike?
I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I could go to the upstairs bathroom, but that's somewhat frowned upon.
Oh, why?
I don't know.
Is that the one you broke?
Yeah. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay. The Grundle.
The Grundle. All right.
The Grundle. What news do you bring from our Grundle? Is it like a shared Grundle? Do we share the same taint?
Oh, I didn't want to think about that.
It's like taint ESP.
All right. We we didn't get many responses or as many as I thought we would today.
Fuck the Grundle. I'm over it.
Even
Fuck all
though
of you.
I
Fuck all of
retweeted
you.
it twice. But we get one of the responses we got is really good, and it's from Toes. I think this is one of Toes' better questions here. She wants to know, or she said, I want you guys to tell each other something about yourself that you've never told the other person before.
I already did.
Well, I mean, technically we both have throughout this whole podcast, but it's never been asked of us to do so.
Okay. Well, I mean, I already did that like earlier this episode. I told you about my itching Grundle. But we can do a new one. But I think you should go first.
That's exactly. I mean, that's the whole point of this.
Okay, you first.
I've like thought about this throughout the day. I can't really think of anything.
There's got to be something you haven't shared.
Did I tell you about the time I almost died?
Not. I'd have to hear the story before I would recall it, but that doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah, I almost died from drinking.
Is this your 30th birthday?
No.
Okay, then I don't think I've heard the story then.
Yeah, I got invited to a house party in college. It was my last day of college. I was worried that I was going to get kicked out because of my bad grades, which I did. And I just kept drinking and drinking and drinking and drinking until I woke up in the hospital.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Did they pump your stomach?
I don't know.
You never bothered asking or finding out?
I'm assuming they did because I had alcohol poisoning. I was 0.4 away from dying.
Wow.
I blew 0.32. That's like.
I think I have heard the story now. Now that you're giving me BAC numbers, that sounds familiar.
Really?
Yeah.
That I can't think of anything.
Oh, I know one that I haven't told you before. This is not my first experience hosting a podcast. This would be my second podcast.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That's boring.
Well, you want something exciting. Okay, what is something exciting?
No, tell me about your podcast. Wait, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that one time, as an adult, I wet the bed.
Okay, all right. That's a good one. What happened? Or is there a story here? Or
it was probably like a very stressful time at work, and I think just anxiety. I just woke up and there was a piss stain on my sheets and mattress. But I think it was anxiety induced because it's not anything I had struggled with before, nor have I struggled with since. But yeah, that was about 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. All right. I could tell one relating to pissing your pants, but I don't feel like it.
Come on, just hit. But if you don't have anything else, you've got to. We can't wait here all night for you to think of something you haven't told me before. I think it fits in perfectly with the fact that we've spent the last 20 minutes so far talking about shit.
Right. Sometimes when I would drive,
mm-hmm.
This is usually after drinking.
Uh-oh.
By the way, which don't do.
No, don't do that. Absolutely not.
But in my early 20s, that was something I did sometimes. and then sometimes I'd really have to pee when I'd be
Okay.
driving home
Okay.
from wherever I was, like the bar or whatever, and I would piss myself on purpose
No.
instead of pulling over or finding a bathroom,
Okay.
and it felt really good.
Recently I've thought about pissing myself while I was out running because I couldn't find a bathroom, and it was like more of a neighborhood, so I couldn't like find a bush or something. Don't want to end up on that registry, but I really had to go, and I was like, maybe I'll just let it happen. But then luckily I chanced upon a porta potty.
Oh,
I hope this is the sort of content that Toes wanted.
yeah, more bodily fluid talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everyone's
Pee pee
asking
pum
for.
pum.
Yeah. Well, I guess we didn't really learn anything new about each other.
What do you mean?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like you're the kind of person who would wet the bed as an adult.
I don't know how to take that. You always throw these things out at me that just are so asinine. I'm trying to he's just like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, okay, I don't know what else to say. It's offensive.
Yep. That's I went there, I guess.
All right, what
Anyway,
else? What else does the Grundle have for us?
hold on. I told myself I'd save myself a blunt for the podcast. I just remembered I had one.
Oh, you're back on the blunts.
Yeah, I ordered a cart for my vape on last Monday.
Oh, I didn't know you vape.
Shut up. And I ordered it on Monday of last week, and it still hasn't got here. It was supposed to arrive on Friday, but the post office was like, nah.
Fuck the U.S. mail. My son says he wants to be a mailman when he grows up. Can you believe that shit?
What?
Yeah, that's his thing right now. He wants to be a mailman.
No son of mine. All right. We got one from Gabe Sluice, I guess.
The sluice is loose.
Kinda.
The sluice is loose. The sluice is loose.
I quote tweeted the original tweet, with the caption, "This is your last chance to dance." And he thought that we started recording, so he didn't really have one at first, but I assured him it's still time.
There's always time in our Grundle. This Grundle will always make time for you.
So he just got a new job, and he didn't have self service in the building, so he couldn't get up to our Grundle sooner. Anyway, so he wants to know, should I quit this job? I mean, the self-service thing is totally crazy, right? The self-service thing is really weird. One place doesn't have self-service.
I mean, it just depends how far underground he's working. Well, he didn't say what he's doing, so I assume it's military work or something.
Is Gabe Sluice part of the military?
I don't know, but I thought it very odd that he wouldn't give me an answer to what his job is.
That is very suspect.
He claims he's a superhero.
Yeah, you asked him what he did, what his job was.
Because I wanted to talk about that, because the question in and of itself could be interesting, but then he didn't tell us what he does, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all we got?
Should he quit his job?
I don't know. I don't know enough about his job. I'm not going to answer him because he didn't answer us.
Well, he kind of answered. He wants to know if he should quit his job, which I think he should. I'm very as our audience and I'm very pro quitting jobs.
Yeah, you love to quit a job. There's nothing like a good job quitting for you.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to maintain a good attitude and keep this job for a long time because
hell yeah,
I get paid $17 an hour to start. So
yeah, it's good. It's a good job, and the longer you stay there, the more used to pooping there you will be, and so it's going to really improve your bowel life and your bowel health. And I have nothing but high hopes for you and your bowels and your sphincter and your anus and the feces that comes out of it.
I have no response to that.
So we are here to talk about the Canadian television show Kim's Convenience. So Brian, had you heard of this show before I picked this?
Yeah, I actually watched like part of the first episode because I had heard of the show before and I thought it sounded cool.
Okay, but you must have decided that it was not cool.
But I couldn't get into it. No. The first episode.
Okay. So I'm just going to read from the Wikipedia because I have no shame at this point. I've been talking about shit for half an hour. Kim's Convenience is a Canadian television sitcom that aired on CBC television from October 2016 to April of 2021. It depicts the Korean-Canadian Kim family that runs a convenience store in the Moss Park neighborhood of Toronto. Parents Appa and Uma, along with their daughter Janet and estranged son Jung, I read that sentence with the wrong inflection. Whatever. Other characters include Jung's friend and coworker Kimchi, his manager Shannon, and Janet's friend Gerald Tremblay. The series is based on the creator's play of the same name from 2011. So that's a little bit of the background on that. So would you? I don't think. I don't know if we're gonna have a guest or not this episode. That's to be determined because we're kind of ahead of the game at this point. So you might only have to watch one episode, Brian. So, like, what did you think about Kim's Convenience in the episode we watched?
I thought this episode was really funny.
Okay.
There's some good physical humor, some good clever humor. Yeah, I thought this was quality overall. I don't know if I'd watch more of it. There'd have to be more of a story arc, but this doesn't seem like it had that.
Well, this is only the third season. I would say, from my memory, because I've seen the whole series. From my memory, the first season doesn't have much of an arc, but in the later seasons, there's more like overarching stories throughout the seasons. So I think it's a great watch, especially the first 2 or 3 seasons.
So you've seen this before?
Yeah, I Netflix had been trying to get me to watch it for a long time, and I finally decided, okay, let's check it out. Checked it out earlier this year.
Were you going to talk about it?
Yeah. This was probably like 9 to 12 months ago. And so we binge watched the 4 seasons that were available at the time, and my wife and I really liked it, and we watched the 5th one when it came out, and it was okay. But yeah, no, this is a show I've really enjoyed.
Cool.
And of course, it stars. I
didn't recognize anyone in this.
Well, the son Jung. I'm probably gonna mispronounce his name. It's Simu Liu, maybe. I apologize for not being able to pronounce these names, but he is now part of the Marvel universe. He was in Shanghai and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which was an MCU film that came out earlier this year.
Oh. He was the star of that, huh?
Uh-huh. Or it's not Shanghai. Shang-Chi, probably. Wow.
Shang-Chi.
Or Shang-Chi. I don't know. Obviously, I need to familiarize myself with some of the more Asian-oriented words in English. It's not English.
Yeah,
I'm just like stepping all over myself. I'm just making things worse.
Like
I should just stop talking. Yeah. Are you a big Marvel fan?
No.
Oh, come on. Me either. Fuck it.
Yeah, I think I saw the first two Iron Man movies and the first Hulk movie they did.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bunch of Spider-Mans. Like the first three, like the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. Which everyone hates on the third one, but I think it's the best one.
Is that the one with Toby Keith?
I beg your pardon?
Toby Keith is in those Spider-Mans, right? With what's the girl's name? Why can't I think? Kirsten Dunst and Toby Keith, right? Are those the ones we're talking about? What is so funny?
Toby Keith is a racist country singer.
Yeah. He was Spider-Man, right?
Tobey Maguire.
Ah, okay. My bad. Couldn't you picture Toby Keith being Spider-Man, though?
Yeah, but he still got the cowboy hat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, this is a great reminder. This is why we have one more TV show left this season after this.
We do?
And I'm glad that we will have a guest for the entirety of the episode, because I just never really know what to talk about when we talk about TV. But I picked it anyway, so...
Mm-hmm.
That being said, there's a spin-off of Kim's Convenience that's airing now. It's called Strays. There was some controversy around that because it centers on Shannon Ross, that was the manager of the car rental place. It focuses on her, so there was a little bit of backlash that they canceled the Kim's Convenience, which focused mainly on Korean family, and now they're doing a show that's just about the one white person from the main cast.
Yeah, that is spicy.
And specifically some of the Korean stars of the show said that the writers were very insensitive, especially like in the last season or two, and just kind of turned the stories into more like stereotypes, negative stereotypes, or maybe didn't. There's a lot of white writers who didn't understand the Korean experience or the culture and just kind of turned it into a caricature. So that's unfortunate that had that kind of around it. But this new TV show, Strays, is
white people, man.
Yeah, fuck us. The Strays, the spinoff is, I just have to say, it's based in Hamilton, which is home to Shawn Mendes' lawyer's best friend and hardcore band Pantychrist.
Oh.
So Hamilton makes another appearance in season 3 of the Zeitgeist. So what did you think of Dong Chim? Like the actual act of Dong Chim?
It looks fun.
It looks fun? Like something you want to try?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that most people listening maybe have not watched this episode. So the episode's called Dong Chim. It basically is based around one of the main characters, Jung, is kind of upset at his friend Kimchi, and he performs on him what he calls a Dong Chim, which he translates to mean poop needle. It's basically...
It means what?
Poop needle.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, and he describes that you put your hands in the prayer position, and then you just give the bum a little poke. with your fingers. And so I did some research on this. Where do I share my screen here? So dong chim, or poop needle, is most certainly a thing in South Korea.
That's awesome. That's so it's an actual Korean tradition.
Yep. Here we have this picture of, it's like a little animation, not an animation, but a drawing of how to perform the dong chim. So we've got the girl, she's got her hands more like a gun almost, and then you can see she's getting ready to just like poke this sphincter. In fact,
you mean a thing that should be taken away?
A sphincter? Yeah, please. If the government wants to show up and take my sphincter, go for it. So it's such a beloved tradition, I guess, in South Korea that they even have statues of little kids performing this. So you see here we've got a statue of someone performing dong chim. And like it just seems like everyone's cool with it. Like there's tons of pictures of people just like basically digitally penetrating another person's anus. We can see it sometimes when tourists come to New York City. We've got someone here performing the act on the bull from Wall Street. So that's pretty great. Here's a picture of two little kids, doing it. This kid looks like he's, enjoying it. Oh, here we have a family centipede of dong chim. I was butt plugged by a Korean kitty. That's the post. So that's awkward. So, again, from Wikipedia, because I have no shame, it's a prank performed by clasping the hands together in the shape of an imaginary gun and attempting to poke an unsuspecting victim's anus, often while claiming kancho. It's a common prank among children in East Asian countries such as Japan and Korea. In Korea, it's more commonly called dong chim, as we've said. And the word is a slang adoption of the Japanese word for enema. Oh, I think that's the Chinese word, which I can't pronounce here, obviously. In English-speaking countries, the prank is known as goosing.
Goosing?
Yeah.
I goosed you. You got goosed.
Right.
I straight up goosed your ass.
Exactly. So that was my main takeaway from the episode, was the poop needle.
Yeah, that was your one takeaway, huh?
Which you didn't even catch that.
No, I didn't. I don't remember those words being uttered on the show. Poop needle.
Poop needle. So there's a very good chance I have nothing else to add to this conversation.
Yeah, talking about TV is really hard.
It is. Why the fuck did we do that for an entire season? And why are we trying to do it multiple times this season? Are we an anti-TV podcast now? Is that what we're trying to say?
I don't know. Just, TV is just hard to talk about, I guess.
I feel like I failed us.
I mean, yeah, what can we say about this one? It's just, it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very wholesome sitcom.
Yeah, it is wholesome. It's family oriented. They're religious. They're religious. I like that. The B plot is kind of about Appa trying to get a good picture for his funeral, and one where it looks like he's going to go to heaven. So, I'm all for a little bit of religion and Christianity, and I think Jesus is pretty cool.
You're all for Christianity?
I'm all, only radical Christianity, if I'm being honest.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I don't want any mainstream or moderate Christianity. I need it radicalized.
Mm-hmm. You want it to be, you want it to influence their laws.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It should. We should live under Christian law. Sharia law, but for Christians, whatever that's called.
Definitely a form of fascism.
Yeah, well, Jesus is my dictator. That's who I take my marching orders from. Speaking of Christianity, I think it's perfect time to remind everyone to sign up for our Patreon, patreon.com/ZGLabPod. Our next Patreon episode that we're getting ready to record is going to feature noted Christian Daniel Jose Leary. I'm going to have to edit this part out. Danny from the Sadie Hawkins pod is going to be joining us.
Dox him. Jesus.
It's his fucking Twitter handle. His Twitter handle is literally his name. So he's doxing himself. But he's going to be joining us because we're going to talk about Canadian ska. So if you are a ska head, a Canadian head, a Christian head, or a Danny head, just get up in that Patreon and check out the first 12 episodes while you await the drop of Canadian ska.
For sure, man.
All right, final thoughts on Kim's Convenience?
I'm really high.
All right, and I probably need to go and have a little bit of diarrhea.
It's called a dongjin.
Is that prison slang?
No, it's Korean. So dong means poop, and jim means needle. So like a poop needle. It's the same as a wedgie.
Okay, I'm picturing a wedgie, but I feel like you would have to work very hard to get to the point of penetration.
There's no penetration. It's just a prank that Korean kids like to do. Hey, you put your hands in the prayer position. And
so this is a religious...
No, it's just how you put your hands. And then you just give a quick jab for fun.
So you jab the anus for fun?
It's got nothing to do with the anus, okay? Just forget about the anus.
I'd like to, but you keep saying anus.
It's just a quick little poke in the bum that Korean guys do to each other, like at church. I'm not explaining this right.
All right, welcome to the Zeitgeist Lab podcast. Eric, also known as CatGuard, if you're familiar with him on Twitter or if you're in a certain Discord server. Eric, joining us tonight from Boulder, Colorado. How are you doing tonight? How's it going?
Doing pretty good. Just had a long day at work, so I'm just kind of tired. So hopefully I'm just in the right punch drunk area for you.
Right. No, yeah, I think that's perfect. I think that's the zone that Brian constantly lives in. So it's not a podcast for people who are sharp or alert or ready to go. This is definitely a twilight hours type podcast. So I think you're in good company here.
All right.
Okay, so you're here to talk to us about the Canadian show Kim's Convenience. So just I guess to maybe give you a little context as well as our listeners, the main part of this episode we've had recorded for almost a month now, but I just have not been – I'm like, well, we still need more because we didn't have a lot to say, and I've been so damn lazy. I finally put out a message on the Discord server saying, hey, does anyone like Kim's Convenience? And you responded, and then I – in my true fashion, I took another week to actually reach out to you and be like, oh, hey, do you want to come talk to us? So this has all been very last minute. So
yeah.
So thank you for agreeing to be here.
No problem.
So maybe tell us your relationship with Kim's Convenience. Did you know this was a Canadian show? Is this a show you followed? I mean, just kind of give us your backstory with this show.
Well, this last summer, my wife wanted to go visit her friend down in Texas, and the in-laws took the kids, and I, for whatever reason, just probably from exhaustion, just felt really sick. So I just wanted to do nothing but lay around and binge watch something. And I just landed on that show. Okay.
And so this is a show you just discovered within the last year. You haven't, someone who's been watching since the beginning. It's only 5 years or 6 years old or something like that. So it's not like it's got a long history, but you're new to this show.
Yeah, I just binged it this last summer.
Okay. And when we talked via direct message, you had told me maybe a few things that maybe connected you to this show, or maybe tell us what draws you to this show.
Yeah. Well, my ex-wife was Korean, and the parents on this show remind me a lot of like her parents, not her parents specifically, but very much that's I guess a stereotype that I recognize the references there.
Okay.
I work in a car rental agency.
Okay.
And I also worked for a family business at one point. So I'm like, this is perfect for me.
Right. Okay. So, I mean, obviously, I don't want to put you in the spot of like trying to speak for all Koreans, especially because for those of you not watching at home, you're not Korean, if anyone is unclear on that. But it sounds like you've had a relationship with Koreans. Do you feel like this is an accurate depiction of Korean culture to a degree? I know that the reason I ask is because, especially towards the end, it seems like some of the lead actors were complaining that, especially in the last season, it just kind of it like turned Koreans into a stereotype and not necessarily in a flattering light. So, from your outside perspective, like what are your thoughts on how this depicts your experience with Koreans?
Well, my favorite character is Oma. Just because she gets the characterization, as I learned, only learned a little bit of Korean, but there's different levels of politeness when you're talking to somebody, and there's different ways of expressing yourself that, depending on where you are in society, that you can do. And so I just noticed, like when older women were around talking, they had this, for instance, a kind of hissing sound they would use to emphasize words.
Okay.
Really hard to do because it's, I studied this because I got interested in it. A non-voiced sounds they have in Korean. So, and so the character of Oma really embodies these kind of characteristics in a unique, it's almost like she's fighting against everything that she's supposed to be, all the stereotypes she's supposed to be her own person, and that's what draws me to that character.
Okay.
But I'm not sure about. They may have just gotten lazy in writing and just more stereotypes later on. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah. Okay. No, that makes sense. And also, is it an accurate depiction of working for a car rental agency?
Yes.
So I worked retail. That's like my background before I got into the profession I'm in now. And so I've watched like that NBC show. I don't even remember what it's called, but it's about like working at a retail store. I'm like, well, this is like a horrible, superstore. I'm like, this is a really bad depiction of working in retail.
That's awesome. What are you talking about?
I did not comment on whether that show's good or not. I'm just saying it's a bad depiction of working in retail. So if you're saying, Eric, that you've worked at a car rental agency, does this resonate with you at all from that standpoint?
Yes. There's plenty of downtime. And in that it's either everything's happening at once or just nothing, and you have plenty of time to just goof around and become friends with your coworkers.
Gotcha.
Obviously the love interest thing's a bit exaggerated, but I've definitely known it's the kind of industry where you either accelerate or just flame out, and so you get those really eager people. And so I think the boss character Shannon, really, I've known people like that.
Yeah. Okay. So for this guest spot, we asked you to pick one episode to watch or to have us watch, because you've seen them all and I've seen them all too, but I picked this one because, I picked this show to talk about because it's not the obvious choice. I think the obvious choice to talk about, recent Canadian television, would be Schitt's Creek, but I was trying to go for not the obvious thing. So Kim's Convenience seems to have a level of popularity, but not on that level. So I'm not as familiar with it, but I have watched them all. But you recommended watching season 1, episode 13. It's called Family Singing Contest. So maybe tell us why you chose that one. Well, I guess first for our listeners, maybe explain the plot of this episode, and then tell us why this is the one out of the 50 or so episodes they have that you chose.
I chose it because partly just because they keep on saying we're doing it for the Jesus.
Right. Okay.
And because Oma's a prominent character in it, and it's season 1 finale, and it kind of shows where they're going to take plots in the show and kind of wraps up what they started. Right.
So, okay, I'm glad that you picked it for, largely for the phrase "doing it for the Jesus," because I enjoyed that. I liked that, it seemed like her character, that's obviously just, her speaking a second language, but her kids, who clearly speak English very well, still just use the phrase, for the Jesus, when they're talking to her, which I found really humorous. Brian, you got a chance to watch this episode, right?
I did, yeah.
What did you think about this one?
I thought it was really sweet. I think the other episode we watched was a lot. I honestly can't remember the other episode we watched.
Okay.
It was so long ago now.
It was the one with the poop needle.
The poop needle.
The Korean wedgie.
Oh,
Sticks his fingers in the guy's butt.
Yeah, so it wasn't as funny as that.
It wasn't as funny as that. Okay.
No, but I found it very sweet and wholesome by comparison. I think that it's really, this must be a really good TV show if they can capture so many different tones like that.
Yeah, I feel like this is a better representation of what the show is as a whole. I think, that other one, I can't remember the name of that episode, but I think it's more toilet humor, which has been my mindset this whole season, as you know, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that, this family singing contest, it captures the family dynamic in a better way. And Eric, I think you said in your message to me that you feel like it sets up a lot of good story arcs coming in the later season or the second season. And especially the relationship between Chung and his father, I think is really highlighted in this, where you see the tension, but you see kind of the, I don't know. It just, it really starts a run where that relationship kind of gets more fleshed out. Because as I was watching this episode back last night, I just kept kind of letting it run for 3 or 4 more episodes, and that relationship starts to become more prominent in terms of trying to uncover why their relationship is fractured and what attempts there are to fix it. So I think this is, like I said, a really good representation of what this show is more about. Do you think that's fair, Eric?
Yeah, I think so. And that's one of the reasons why I like this show, is because it doesn't rely on the usual sitcom-y situations where one character's deceiving other characters for extended period of times, and it's just a lot more grounded than that. And it can go from being the poop needle or an episode where they all get diarrhea to being very sweetly winning trying to win a talent contest in church.
Right. And I think maybe that's what I appreciate most about this, is that, I mean, even just some of the things you mentioned, I feel like they're still doing a lot of the more classic sitcom-y type tropes, but it's done in a more original and authentic way. I think, if you look at 90s sitcoms would be the thing I would know the best, that have a lot of these same kind of tropes and ideas. It's just so overdone, or it doesn't age well because it's
it's just, it's the tone is all wrong for what America or the world is like now. But I think this show has come along at a time and tackled some of these typical storylines with more of an authentic bent, I guess is what I would say. And I think that makes it more appealing than older shows.
Yeah, almost as if, how would real people react to somebody pulling this crazy hijinks,
Right, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think it's more grounded in reality, and they benefit from that. Like, again, when I think of it's like the classic sitcoms I think of that kind of explore a lot of the same types of ideas would be like your Friends, your Seinfeld, your Frasier. And I appreciated all those shows, but they're so outlandish and so unrealistic. And I think
they just can be straight up farce sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I think that kind of covers the episode. Was there anything else that you wanted to say about Kim's Convenience, or any other thoughts you had as you kind of prepared to talk about the show?
Yes, there's in the pilot episode, Kimchi says that, like cleaning cars is the best because, I find an iPod, I get a new iPod.
Right.
I just wanted to tell you some of the things I've gotten from the Lost and Found.
Perfect. That's
Everything
great.
Officially after waiting, somebody didn't come back. I've gotten a Soda Stream.
Okay.
A Google Home.
Wow.
So why were people carrying these in their car, and how did they forget them? I don't know, but
why would you have a Google Home in a rental car? That makes no sense.
I don't know. But
okay.
It's a good information tool for the kids. It's like, I don't know, go ask Google.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Those are some pretty good ones.
What was have you ever found anything absolutely disgusting left in a car? What's the grossest thing that got left?
Just general stains. Luckily nothing. Just everybody leaving masks in their car. These days, it's just really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's kind of so. Okay, so you've worked. Sorry, do you still work for a rental car company? Is that what you said? Or okay,
yeah.
What is how has that been impacted by the pandemic? Has it made things worse in terms of I would hate to have to deal with customers in this current environment is basically what I'm saying. Is it as bad as I imagine with people just constantly freaking out at you about stuff?
No, it's actually not that bad that way. Most people, if they're traveling, they're generally of the opinion of who cares?
Okay.
Do you want me to wear a mask? I mean, if they're traveling these days, that's kind of their attitude. And mostly, it's now become mostly just people getting their cars repaired because buying a new car just is out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Jeez.
So their cars in the body shop.
Gotcha.
Most of the business these days.
Okay.
But there was a nice little squeeze there where it's I know you booked for a large SUV, but due to the everything that's going on, all we have is a two-door hatchback with a cracked windshield, and it'll be $130 a day.
Right.
Look, you're not happy. We're not happy. Nobody's happy about this.
Right.
But that's where things are.
Right, for sure.
But it's gotten better since then.
Good. Can you give our listeners? Well, okay. Can you give me what's the advice you would give to someone who wants to find the cheapest but still quality car rental? Because this is something I'm always up against when we travel. And I've done traveling, unfortunately, where I fly into one airport and we fly out of another. And all these car rental companies are always trying to hit me with this extra fee to drop off somewhere else. So is there a secret to getting a good deal? Is there a good website? I've tried Priceline. I've never really been happy with that.
I'm not sure because I get a 50% discount, so
Gotcha.
I
Okay.
never shop around.
Okay, so you don't have like the insider information on because I've even tried.
No.
So I don't know what I won't ask you on Mike what company you work for, but I've tried hard like bothering different companies on Twitter, like, hey, could you waive this fee? And I was like, no, sorry, we can't do that. I'm like, I feel like I usually have luck with companies when I bother them like publicly on social media, but car rental companies seem to be a bit stringent on their rules.
I will say that a lot of them will ask you for a survey, and the people inside generally get promoted if they get 5 stars.
Oh, okay.
So obviously, don't be a dick about it, but you got a little leverage there.
Got a little leverage there. Okay, gotcha.
For that specific person trying to rent you the car you're returning to or whatever.
Right. Okay.
They
All
want
right.
those 5 stars because then they get it's another point in their pocket.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
It's
I'll have
5
to
or
remember that.
0.
It's 5 or 0.
Yeah, that's what they're considered.
Yeah. That sounds a lot like retail, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been a great conversation. I learned a lot about car rentals, Kim's Convenience, and all that. Before we let you go, is there anything in particular you have to plug? Like, again, thank you for being here. It's going to make this episode way better. So I want to give you the chance to plug anything or promote anything here at the end.
No, I've got nothing going on with the
That's fine. That's how all our guests have been this season, and we just pick people we want to talk to. We don't want sellouts coming on here plugging their shit that they're trying to sell. I don't
Yeah. Just look forward to more surprise 155 covers now that I've got a space to record in.
All right. Well, yeah, keep your eye out for those because your covers are always good. And yeah, I want more surprise covers, so I'll keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man.
The Zeitgeist Lab Collections podcast, hosted by Brian and Alex, edited by Poli-Sci Alex, executive produced by Pan Blurry for Itchy Grundle Podcast.